record it because some people say, you know, in America, and I'll put them up on YouTube, and they say, have you got any more talks that you've had in your little small groups? Because they pick up a little bit of information here or there or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, some genuine questions.
I don't.
That $15 is for the...
Thank you. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I just put one up there. If it happens to be different, you know, I'll put it up. Whatever. And it's normally in a group where people ask genuine questions that you get some really good sort of discussion going and what have you, just as we're warming up, as we're starting. Because I like to describe, you know, exactly what the work is as far as I understand it, as far as the harmonics are concerned. So we use a language which we call the Anuhasi language, which is an angelic human language, which was given as the first seeding of consciousness in this galaxy. So it's language creates DNA. Just like the words of distortions create junk DNA, create shutdown of your biological anatomy. So sound tones and mathematical encryptions of language are very, very important for the restructuring of your connections.
And that could be why animals are more intelligent than plants than us, because they don't speak.
They don't speak, but they know instinctively what's going on, right?
They do.
But we've been given something quite amazing in our template. It's like we've got an evolution of consciousness under our own self-awareness and guidance if we connect into higher structures of self. So, you know, the language was Anuhasi language, angelic human. So the angelic, you look on top of a Christmas tree, not that Christmas tree, but normally there's an angel on top of the Christmas tree. So the tree would be, you know, our what we call the veil of Bantu, or some veil that we had, where you've got all the different coloured frequencies and harmonics of your own reality, but you've also got the what we call the Christ star, or the angelic form on the top, right? So when we combine that angelic presence with the biological anatomy, we overcome, it's like the two become one. We become a new creation with full power and knowledge to ourselves. You know, from our own high dimensional structure, we can take full command of our destiny, full command of our mastery, those ancient parts of ourselves which are known in our higher consciousness, but we haven't been able to access very rarely because of, you know, containment fields of shut down, control systems that are in place in this earth, and without, you know, throughout all the created matter fields, we've been shut down. And language is the main thing that shut us down.
Was it?
Yeah, language.
Where does the Anuhasi come from?
From originally, Anu was a part of a primal language source. Anuhasi is just a language given to angelic humans from founder race lines. So they created a race of humans to actually start to manage in energy systems in fallen matrices. So for example, this is a fallen matrix.
So they created them.
They created them to regenerate structure so that we as the guardians of the earth would stand and direct the energy flows of, say, the planet Earth to get the true flows and spins and feeds of energy into the broadcasting system of the planet.
And would that have happened anyway, regardless of the Anuhasi?
Well, the Earth was a regenesis. The Earth was a regenesis planet. Had come out of a fallen high-dimensional structure, fell down into harmonic universe 1. So it needed to be restructured. And they were created to come in.
If each person connected to the light themselves, as Azaria said, wouldn't it have happened anyway?
Well, unfortunately, the intruder race lines were here with an agenda to distort fields even more so they could harvest the quanta in a system. So the energy quanta on a planet, say for example, is what's running down black hole to feed other matrices that are fallen race lines. So if we were just here in the earth as angelic human guardians, we would have restructured, regenerated the planet, would have evolved a higher dimensional structure. But it's not that way. We're under the oppression here in the earth of the control matrix, which extracts energy through many, many systems here.
Black hole. So has Ashley travelled in there to see what's actually going on in that black hole?
Oh, if you read summary number 2 on the website, it'll tell you exactly how the restructuring of black hole energy creates Merkaba fields that is actually what they call Merkaba Death Star Atlantean technology. You don't want to go too far into there because, you know, it is a siphoning system. right? So to understand that language codes you, and to come out of the dead words, I call it dead words of dead men. In other words, people who have died have been corrupted, because the corruption causes death. We've been listening to those who have gone before us, taking on their knowledge, and we've been coded genetically through the language. So restoring original language and frequency codes is actually important to us.
And there's new language now anyway, isn't there? Like some of the words such as crystalline was never around 100 years ago. There's a new language.
There is a modern language,
expanding.
but I'm talking about the conjugation of words and energy signatures. So say, for example, if you write the letter A, it has a symbol code, which means exactly some constellation of thought on higher dimensions. And when you put words together, it's actually writing an encryption of a mathematical matrix that brings in constellations of energy thought that will actually be working through you.
So if your name starts with an A, for example,
but it's like when you hear the Anuhasi or the higher hybrid theme languages now that are plugging into higher dimensions, all of those codes are what created our DNA and what created our biological anatomy. So it means,
really?
yeah. So they even prove it scientifically now. When they use language, they can see that even in the junk DNA, what they used to call junk DNA, is undecoded reality that's actually consisting of little sentences of codons that actually chemically create shutdowns of the epigenetic overlay. So the epigenetic overlay controls your DNA, what's opening and firing into the circuitry of the presentation of your light hologram.
Amazing.
And the unigenetic underlay, which is your internal potential, actually should be being able to activate the chemistry of your DNA from the inside, but it's also blocked off from the epigenetic overlay. Epigenetic overlay is controlled by electromagnetic frequencies that run around the planet.
So before language, what was our DNA like?
Well, we came in as angelic humans. We wouldn't, on higher dimensional structure, we wouldn't even have a vibrational language. We would have a solid state knowing and communication. Language became necessary through the step down, and especially through trying to communicate something on a vibratory form that we could pick up in a body that had the sentience of vibration. Right? So language, that's why we use the Anuhasi as a part of the restructuring, and that's why we sing the songs in the Anuhasi to actually say, get the frequency, we draw the frequency in. And when we draw the frequency in, the presence of our higher dimensional self-identity reality comes in with us, and we can actually start to reintegrate our original form back into ourselves. And at the same time, there's a transmutation going on, because we have decided within ourselves we want the resurrection, we want the ascension. We are letting the original codes come in to overwrite the corruptions.
For the better of the future.
Because we're doing it we're sending down through all the ancestral lineages of our body, going back right through eons of time. We're actually sending, in the now moment, time travel down through the eons. We're sending a wave of the Christic energy to help our ancestral lines regenerate structure.
Wow, I love that.
Because they are part of us, and we are not made complete without them.
Yeah.
They are not made complete without us. We need each other to have the full functionality of communication to restore this flesh. This flesh was given to me as a gift from my parents, so that when I incarnated my spiritual anatomy into here, I would start to clear the lines of my ancestry so they could find peace, because they hadn't been able to find it.
What if they did though?
Well, they will now, because we're doing it. And we're actually...
Might have.
Some did, some had at time.
Like some of our ancestors
Yeah.
sort of got part of the way, and
Yeah.
then we came in and we've got another part of the way, and so
It's like
it's evolving.
you're passing on the baton in a relay race, and we're all going to cross the finishing line together, because whoever crosses represents the whole team.
Yes. But you carry everything that's
You
gone
carry
before.
everything that's gone before.
Yeah.
Right? So,
7 generations forward and 7 back.
well, actually going right back to the beginning, to the very first point of fall in any founder race line that is represented in this body, because we're trying to fulfill their desires. It says, my hope is in my children. I can't quite find the energy to overcome, but I'm hoping my children will. So here we are, we're standing up and saying, let it be me that now sets creation free. Let it be me that sends my blessing down the lines, that all of the ancestors would actually start to do the work themselves rather than, continue to perpetuate the illusion into next generation.
Incarnation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
It says that in the Bible, my children, you'll bear the fruit or something of your children's
Yeah.
children.
Where the sins of,
The sixth or seventh generation.
fathers,
Yeah. But that's one thing, and then another says, let every man, carry his own burden now. So when you stand up, you carry your own burden now, but then you can feel, it's like a monkey on your back, you can feel the past generations hanging on to you, trying to operate through your templates to find fulfillment.
Because we're in this time.
Because we're connected genetically to those codes, and our ancestors have been coded through what we call hybridization of intruder race lines in the breeding on the planet. And so we are remotely controlled through parallel adjacent matrices billions of light years away. We're running the agendas of the intruders partly through our genetics.
Why have the intruders been given license to be able to have the power?
We gave them license because we're their children, and they said, you are our children, you will do our will, just like you want to please your father, you want to please your mother, whatever. It's like it's in there inherently. But when
Contract.
yes, it's like a contract genetically. It's written it's like a sentence written in the cells of your body, in the DNA.
Because of the fall.
But the oppressors, how is it, and by what program are they exacting their will, their force over us in this description of subjugation that you've just described, that we're being alleviated from? Why has that come about in the first place?
In the first place,
where is God's hand in their creation?
Yeah. Okay. So God's hand in their creation is the same as God's hand in our original creation, which is, I have begotten you, you are all the offspring of me. Each individually, you have your own potentials to experience what you will, free will given to you. You're going to archive the substance of your self-identity reality through the experiential reality of walking out in time, space, matter, what you are. And if you had fallen away from what works in perpetual motion life structure, just like this pattern here, where it self-replicates, self-generates, expands and continues to give life to all things everywhere. If you move outside of the parameters of possibility of creation and you fall away from connectedness to source, you become an insulated, isolated, infinite identity structure matrix that's got diminishing life force. So the technology was, and it's written in the Voyagers books, that certain race lines fell away doing certain experiments of how can we create as offspring of source to create our self-identity, what is possible. And some fell away from perpetual motion life structure and they started to isolate, insulate themselves from that perpetual motion structure. And then, all things are possible and all things can be healed in life source.
And ultimately trusting in God.
They wouldn't have.
Well, but God allowing the inspiration for that exploration.
Yes, yes, that's right.
God's the author of all, right down to the absolute end of anything. And so this is all part of the mystery of allowing his creation, allowing it to occur. Yeah. So interesting, but it's great to hear this description, just like, how fascinating. Yeah.
And so because we've been allowed to fall away from source, in the economy of God's source, all things return to God, all things come from God, and it operates through our self-identity reality. We're given our identity that we walk out ourselves, and that's the substance of our inheritance in space-time matrices that we gain our self-identity. So if we had fallen away from perpetual motion structure and became a finite imploding system, matrix of the same. No, I'm saying the original primal point of fall, which is Weezer-Drake black hole matrix, Borgia matrix, which is a parallel adjacent billions of light years away matrix on the structure. We'll have a look on the codes later. It is in a Eka system, which we call universal system.
So it's an alternate, it's a parallel universe.
Well, it's actually a part of actual structure. If you saw that the creation has actually got structure, and it's like little bubble memory kind of places, but they've all got a structural space-time location and currents of energy that flow perpetually through them.
Yep.
So there was one, we're here, it was over here, billions of light years away, parallel adjacent matrix that fell into implosion. Developed technology to infiltrate living structure to siphon through technology the particle base, matter base.
Is it because of this separation from source that they seek energy from other places?
That created duality.
But without the God source particles and polarization.
And so they cannibalise from those others, including us.
Yeah.
We've got the vampire culture now. They're the biggest grossing movies, aren't they?
Metaphor that, absolutely. Okay, that's interesting.
And so they do it clandestinely.
Yeah, okay.
They do it, like for example, if you could imagine in the Earth in the Regenesis mission, there were angelic humans seated on the 12 stargates, 12 legions, and they were going to have 1/12 of their incarnations in each stargate until you got the whole 12 of the teachings, and then you would start to bring the planet up. The intruders came in here and usurped the position of the guardians at that time, who were actually administering, say, the breeding programs. We will breed this line here with that intergalactic race line of Christic seed to upgrade this one, and they had a specialised kind of an upgrading DNA restructuring program. Right, there was an original plan in Regenesis. The usurpers came in and carrying distortion codes and teaching codes that actually taught people to spin their energies the wrong way, through hybridization, receive genetic. So they could implant their own network, infiltrate
their agenda
into here, their agenda, their seed, and we are the offspring of the hybridization. We're carrying codes of our true Christic intention, and we're also carrying codes of the distortion fields.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And so they come in on a subatomic level, on atomic level, and the electron shell might have 8 electron positions, spins of angular rotation that connect up into greater dimensionalization. They come into the third ring of the atomic structure and they put a spin the other way. So we're getting some flows in organic system and some flows we're diverting a percentage of a quanta down black hole 4 through the harnessing networks put into the matter base on the planet.
And that's what they feed on.
They feed off it. Yeah. So we're still existing here, we think this is normal, but they're actually feeding, we're actually feeding them, and they're at the other end saying yes, and they can only survive through harvesting and harnessing other living systems.
So for me, the more light I draw in down through my fella, the more it pushes, for want of a better word, that dark side away, because they can't exist. The light is more powerful than the dark. So the more you fill this body, this being with light, the more you push that away. And so
dispel the darkness.
And so there becomes no duality.
The light dispels the darkness. God, being light, hides himself in the darkness, the Bible says, right? So, in the darkness...
the darkness is still...
of God, because darkness and light are both the same to God.
Yes.
So, God sees the value in the darkness. It's just unrevealed light, hiding in the darkness, waiting to say, hear the command, let there be light. And there was light.
Yes.
Because I enlightened my mind, I was darkened in ignorance, lack of understanding, and now I'm letting the light of the living one come in and regenerate the dark constructs.
And so as soon as you start doing that and bringing that light in, it dispels it.
But the whole process is, there's a lot of dark light energy constructs, calorine rays and Shona light fields, which we learned in this work. It looks like light, it's not light, but people think it's light, and there's a lot of entities in hibernation zones saying, we are the light, we are the love, tune into me, put your focus on me, and we'll teach you. Right, these are the channeling machinations that they use to get your attention, to drag you into reverse siphoning, reverse DNA sequence extraction spirals into black hole. So we've got to be very careful.
If you hold yourself really true, then you don't go down that one.
No, our intention is, I want to connect with my own original self. The multi-dimensional structure of my origination of true creation come back into divine formulation within my temple, my template here, so I can carry the codes and extend the frequencies of the healing into all densities. I am here as the door. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Right?
Amen to that.
Amen to that.
I think the control is planning to fabricate a holographic second coming to do
That's very true. Yeah.
light siphoning, energy siphoning.
There's a lot of people caught in the delusion.
Fake light, you know,
Yeah.
which we're talking about.
There's a lot of people caught in the delusion. When the New Age movement came, it was like people are hungry. The intruders knew that there was a frequency wave coming into the planet from higher dimensional structure that's designed to line up with what we call a stellar activation cycle, you know, which is a Stargate alignment. And that people are hungry, they're beginning to feel, they're beginning to sense, they know something else is greater. And so these other entities in hibernation zone cashing in on it, and they're actually saying, oh, here's a moment, we're going to help. If we align with these people who are hungry for the energy, we can actually teach them a slightly distorted way, and we can suck their energy. Right?
They're masters of deceit, aren't they?
Masters of deception, and unfortunately, most of the planet has been sucked in. In actual fact, every religion, every New Age teaching, everything on the planet virtually has some form of distortion, even though there's a lot of truth in it and it resonates with us.
So which ones don't?
We call upon our own original self-identity, multi-dimensional structure of my true intention, my divine intention to do the will of the only one, the living one.
Which is what you said.
Yes.
So if you're connecting to that rather than say, it's some light, some nebulous light, I don't know what it is, always call for your own original self-identity.
And there was a little time that I actually did get caught up with, for want of a better word, the darker side, thinking that that was truth and it wasn't. But
What a
they
great
are
journey.
so clever.
Very subtle.
So subtle.
So loving.
So no, not loving.
But they say loving. They say loving. They
Yeah,
say
but
kind.
they're actually not.
What I'm saying is, the entities in the hibernation zones, when they are contacting with New Age practitioners who are wanting life, their messages are, I'm such and such from planet whatever, and I'm here to teach you and show you. I just read something in the New Dawn this month that says about Saint Germain, right? And it says in there, I said, there's the key. It says, Saint Germain says, I will take your soul and blah, blah, blah. So he's saying, I'm taking your soul, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's not his soul, it's our soul, right?
It wasn't the real Saint Germain.
No, but the real Saint Germain, I believe, has been working with these frequencies that are those plasma, synthetic, fabricated frequencies that people have believed to be true. And we've all been sucked into the vortex of, I want life, and that these are the masters. Well, we've found out now that the ascended masters are only on about the fifth
Consciousness plane.
which we call density, or dimension 1, 2, 3 is what was existing in here, dimension 1, 2, 3. The next harmonic universe is 4, 5, 6. They're existing in 4 or 5. So they're not ascended, they're only semi-ascended consciousness that's actually higher frequency to override our lower frequency so that we can be lifted up into their distortion reverse siphoning systems to actually give energy down the black hole, because they have become the agents for it through themselves being sucked into it previously.
Yeah. Or to give them energy so as they can evolve?
No, well, they want evolving, but they're not prepared to come into perpetual motion life restructuring, a new covenant of peace which is offered.
Know about it.
Well, that's why we speak to them.
Yeah.
One of my prayers is, and even in this work we say it, in the Bible Jesus said, come unto me all who are weary and heavy laden, and I shall give thee rest. Come eat and drink of me. In other words, I will give you the life river. I will give you that. Now, we say that to our ancestors, to those parts of consciousness that are stuck in distortion fields, come to me. I am rising in Christ. I'm showing you that you can rise in Christ too. That you need to come away from the distortion fields that have caught you up into this place and come into your own regenesis in the Christic perpetual motion life streams.
But he's saying come away from their source self too, though.
No. He's saying come
to me.
Yeah, but he's saying, well, this is the Jesus teaching.
Yeah.
Come to me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. In other words, I have become a conduit through which this energy flows. But you can find it because in the higher structure of your self-identity, we're the same one up here, right? But we've been sealed off and fragmented down here. So it became a way. That's in the biblical teaching. In this teaching, it says we are calling on the whole host of God, which you might call the Holy Ghost, the whole host of God, which means the full counsel of the living God source, to actually say we want our own self-identity, those stations of consciousness, of frequency, it's like a hierarchy of energy that we step down through those processes into density here to experience life, and we've been hijacked. I want to reinstate those true, straight ways that came into me originally. I want those restored unto me, and it's my self-identity in the Christ.
Yeah, so is that part of the declaration that Jesus made when he said that I am the way and the truth and the life?
I believe,
that he's saying, I am. If you align with me, then you will be exactly where you need to be for your reconstitution.
Virtually.
Or I am meaning line up with your own I am.
Yeah, but in this only begotten Son, which I've learned that the only begotten Son is the one that's begotten of the only one, which is the everyone. That's the everyone that we are before we came into separation. That's the only begotten by the only one, and the everyone. So that Christ principle is the divine principle that is our structure. So it's saying we're connecting back into that one, right? And through that reordering,
which you would do, but was Jesus' message saying for you to be able to make that connection that you were saying?
Yeah.
That you actually
do it yourself.
That you need
Do
to.
it yourself, responsibility.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, which ultimately, but a blueprint or a type to which you bring yourself to align to for that to actually occur was what he was actually teaching.
Yeah.
See, because sorry, Sylvia, but there is a few things in the biblical teaching. It says, work out your own salvation. Salvation is to know God.
Take responsibility.
Lay a hold on eternal life. Purify yourself as he is pure. Eat and drink of the divine nature. Be partakers of the divine nature. So this is
St. Germain's teaching too.
It is.
Purify yourself.
So if that's his teaching, it's good. But when he says, I'm going to take your soul,
that wasn't him.
No, I mean, we know the soul structure is part of our step down. We know the incarnate here is what we are incarnating into the flesh. That's this harmonic. The next harmonic is the soul, second density harmonic. Next one is oversoul, then we have avatar, then we have rishi, and then we have adashi, 1, 2, 3, back to source. So we know that there's true lines of structure that are our true self-identity. That's what we're going for. And so
lucky are we to be given this information.
We bring it in through the host, which is here. The host is an energy field of our own high-dimensional, authentic, organic reality. So that's why we sing the songs, and that's why we bring it in. These symbol codes here are pulling energy wherever these codes are. It's just like if you look at how the One World Order works. They put in symbol codes in the streets, and they put in all kind of imagery and symbolization.
Oh, billboards and things.
Yeah, everywhere. To attract.
And the Olympics.
It is just everywhere.
To attract that energy. That's why the White House and all of those other, London, Vatican, Washington,
On money, it's
everywhere.
The symbol is coded, it's broadcast.
and that's why this symbol code here, these symbol codes, they're pulling that frequency of the mathematical encryption of the template of the divine principle of our own original Christic reality.
So this is a deliberate construct that you've got here.
Yep.
That's setting up a particular energy field
Yep.
that surrounds us while we're in this love.
Yeah. So let's go. What we normally do is we normally do what we call a dial-up, which is just like, you might say, a set of frequency keys dialing up certain parts of structure. It's called a Trinity Arc private line priming sequence, the dial-up. And these are just sort of some of the Anahazi language, and symbol codes. These symbol codes here are what we call optical pineal gland induction, as we breathe them in, blow them into the core of our body. And then we just go through and we name just some of the part of the host. Some of the part of the host, like these are some of the structures within the hosting structure, which are here through the crystal river trimatrix host to support the regenesis on the earth. So we just sing this, or say it, and we also have this little song at the end, right?
Would you like to
Yes,
it's not a spare one, but you can use it.
These are spare ones too you've given me.
I haven't gone through a sort of
These are just some sort of stuff I gave to it as an introduction.
Some that's and extra.
Oh, does he want that? Would you like that then? That's it's just some of the handout that I got off the internet just to show you some of the symbol codes and that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you guys, so everyone's ready, and I see someone's got a new songbook.
Yes, somewhere, wherever. On for it already.
Ezra Canunda, you're very quiet, mate.
I have my day.
Hey?
Do you have my days around? Listen.
You just listen, mate.
Receiving day and putting out day. Is it?
Well, what you're saying there is just reinforcing a lot of stuff that I've been listening to again. I'm fascinated about the DNA.
Yes.
You're talking about vibration and also
Oscillation.
oscillation. Is that virtually the two strands? One is the where your parents teach you all these different things, and that becomes part of your
Foundation.
DNA, and the other part is colour. Didn't you say that?
Well, every sound tone has a colour, frequency, emission, light body expression. Yeah.
But all the DNA that you have is from eons back.
Eons and eons of archiving of self-identity through experiential reality in space-time matrices. This archived as this bodysuit that you've inherited from your parents that you incarnated into to help relieve all the distortions in the lines.
How many strands?
Well, we say 12-strand DNA in the basic angelic human, which in the junk DNA, so to speak, is the decoded, undecoded reality, which is going to restructure itself into full subharmonic communication with higher and lower densities.
And how many strands in the reconstituted entity?
Well, that would be the 12 strands on the angelic human,
Yep.
but some of them, like indigo, can go up to 48, and other plugins, other systems can plug in many higher strand computation, but you can't overload the system down here with high computation because you blow the circuits even in the planet, right? Yeah, so we've got to be integrating it slowly.
We were talking about that yesterday,
Right.
the plugs and they're going to wall only in the southern hemisphere. We have the three. We have positive, negative and Earth, but up in the north, or in America anyway, it's just the two. They couldn't handle the download.
That's right, so we're actually,
Maybe we can.
it says in the Bible,
Let's get
the Queen of
And
Sheba,
it's all relevant.
yeah,
Yeah.
it comes from the south, you know.
Southern
In
hemisphere.
it says Sheba, Queen of Sheba, went to Solomon. She came from the south. So it's like the south is going to join the king. It's like going to be a marriage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually touching on that, saying that the southern hemisphere is
It's
less
feminine.
populated, more feminine.
More water, and the
That's
north
it.
is heavier, male, more people, more structure.
Yeah.
It's also pear-shaped on the north. So that's why they fly around. Not, you know, they fly up towards the North Pole and around because it's a lot shorter, because the Earth actually goes like a pear.
Really?
Well, that's it.
And that's why women have got a bit of a pear-shaped body as well, because it's the female distortion field.
Some women.
Well, some women, some women. But I mean, have you noticed that a lot of
But everyone's saying that thing.
have you noticed that a lot of the structure actually symbolises, you know, the distortion fields, the lack of communication between the male and female energies, the electric magnetic, and that because there should be 3 times more electric in the Earth, there's a lot more plumpness in the bottom part, you know.
Electric.
Can I say
fields.
So this is all something to do with it.
Interesting, yeah.
So there's a lot we can say about it, but let's get on with it, you guys. Okay, so let's read it out. Here we go. I'll start with in the name of. In the name of the Melchizedek Cloister, Emerald Order, Holy Order of the Unified, Sacred House of One. Maharata Kumbai Vectors, Eneboka Uniplium by Vectai, Mahabai Vectai, Unure Unemo, Iste Unte Isa Tracha Hehera, Katate Unma, Eshalom Ta Asia Interdoe, Shade Urea Kumtun Akumtun. Shade Urea Kumtun Akumtun. Shade Urea Kumtun. Ma'a Awete Unisa Eshadur. Ma'a Hawete Unisa Eshadur. Ma'a Hawete Unisa Eshadur. Ma'a Hawete Unisa Eshadur. Did I say it 3 times?
4 times.
Oh, sorry.
Measure.
Okay, so just take a sniff in of that code, pineal gland induction, down to the body, through the central column into the spinning shield just beneath your feet, 12 inches. Leatore Itwa Dwete Niwa. Leatore Itwa Dwete Niwa. Leatore Itwa Dwete Niwa. I am the Adondra 360 now. I am the Adondra 360 now. I am the Adondra 360 now. Adondra Iesta Uchiwa Adonai. Adondra Iesta Uchiwa Adonai. Adondra Iesta Uchiwa Adonai. Ekusha Etume Shraota Amarea. Ekusha Etume Shraota Amarea. Ekusha Etume Shraota Amarea. Asurashan Hona Yetalu. Asurashan Hona Yetalu. Asurashan Hona Yetalu. Taisha Intadore. Taisha Intadore. Taisha Intadore. And now opening the heart in only the Christed way. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Itu Encha Asia Nita Dayo. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Itu Encha Asia Nita Dayo. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Di Ayo. Om Mate Padi Om Itu Encha Asia Nita Dayo. Now we just do what we call the command for the initial encryption. Shalom etu enta. Shalom et sida ne utsa. Shalom da inter orim ishu. Sade unit sheshwa di. Now, the Aquarian Crystal River Prayer and Invocation for Crystal River Activation and Amplification. Part 1. Om Sate Rehavea Crystallo. The Crystal River Prayer Sanctification. Diva Inture Ista Intao Rehavea Crystallo. Iraho Itina Have. Itotore Enshahe Nuvoete Entaro. Siba Blen Utu Enkale. Dehi Niva Salaso Endoetra Don Aquari. Dehi Urto Tradila Urintaro Dihatu. Cum Sae Ho Directata Enta Hum Crystale. Cum Sae Ho Directata Aqueous. Cum Sae Ho Directata Aquafari. Cum Sae Ho Directata Aquari. Cum Sae Ho Directata Atu. Cum Sae Ho Directata Adonai. Cum Sae Ho Directata Iane. Cum Sae Ho Directata Iane Ma'a Poete. Cum Sae Ho Directata Ushale Zundu Rosete. Cum Sae Ho Directata Mashaya Hana Aquio. Cum Sae Ho Directata Al-Umbra Magistrates and Councils of Cosminias and God Source First Eternal. Cum Sae Ho Directata Ut Aurore. Bendiduro Amesha Ut Aurore Aquion. Bendi Hale Ishanua Ut Aurore Aquion. Bendi Rame Rafagente Ut Aurore Aquion. Bring forth now the crystal river of eternal first creation. Bring forth now the healing waters of the Edons Shadi. Bring forth now the gentle wind song of the sacred unison. Bring forth here the radiant starlight of the eternally starborn. Let the crystal river flow unto my doorstep. Let the crystal river cleanse and heal my soul. May the crystal river love song all embracing emerge now from my Christed crystal core to softly call me home. Diva into re sta entao, re habeaun cristalo. Diva into re sta entao, re habeaun cristalo. Diva into re sta entao, re habeaun cristalo. Ashalom ta ekashadu, ashalom ta ekashadu, ashalom ta ekashadu. Part 2. Rehalia crystallo elementi evokai. The crystal river elemental command invocation, Christiac sanctification, and selfish right of reclamation. In the name of the Melchizedek cloister, Emerald Order, holy order of the Unici, sacred house of one. In the Christian name and action of the Alumbra Magistracy Councils of Cosminius and God Source First Eternal. In the name of the Mashaya Hana Council of Aquarium. In the name of the Councils of Crystal Void. In the name of the Councils of Crystal River. In the name of the Councils of Aurora. We call upon the Christian powers of the Shah-Ada Amor, eternal wind song. We call upon the Christian powers of the Shah-Ete Dura, eternal flame of divine fire. We call upon the Christian powers of the Maya Quail, eternal water flow. We call upon the Christian powers of the Etalea Crystallea, eternal foundation stone. We call upon the Christian powers of the Ita Ur Chalet, eternal fire lights ethers. We now command the entrusted powers of aurora light. We now invoke the eternal Christed Sun to co-create, release and renew this place. Our bodies, this place, our homes, our places of work, our places of travel. Every space-time incarnation, past, present and future, of the many members of the God Self stepped down into space-time matrices, wherever we have been gaining the inheritance through the experiential walking out of our journey to build our self-identity reality. Right here, right now, acknowledging our high, lifted up presence, looking down through all time, changing and rearranging all distortion fields in our matrix, where we have been deceived, where we have been perpetuating error. Let us now look at those moments of choice and choose to walk again in those fields as we waken in the dream, to bring onto the stage of life right here, right now, our true intention and power to heal those parts of ourselves as we incarnate into these bodies of death to bring life to all generations. We now declare in eternal sanctification this place, this land, and all within into the Christian protection herein set, that the spirit of Earth Asala rise, the power of Earth Asala heal, and the wisdom of Earth Asala here within preside. In the name of the eternal Christ of first creation, and by the divine vehicle of the Rehavia Crystallo, in co-created Christ embrace, with absolute humility, absolute love, and absolute forgiving, and only in absolute service to the eternal Christ and its ever-loving healing devotion to all life everywhere. We banish now from this sacred place all that is unwilling to receive the absolute cleansing of the crystal aid within the covenants of divine right order and divine right timing, as only the eternal God source can know. In loving Christiac service, we offer release and host arrangement to all those present whom are in need and seek to heal within the sacred cleansing field of Earth Sala and the eternal divine flows of the Reha Bia und Christolo. In Christian reverence, joy and gratitude for the unceasing love and mercy of the one source most divine, we end now and complete this Christian sanctification and selfish rite of reclamation. In the name of the one true source, God eternal, in the name of the Christ divine, in the name of the Reha Bia und Christolo, in the Christic name and action of the Alhambra Magistrating Councils of Cosmenius and God's Source First Eternal, in the name of the Mashaya Hana Council of Aquarium, in the name of the Councils of Crystal Lake, in the name of the Councils of Crystal River, in the name of the Councils of Aurora, in the name of the Melchizedek Cloister, Emerald Order, Holy Order of the Unified, Sacred House of One, and in the name of your spiritual name, the eternally Christian, I am this I am. Ta'esha interdoi, Ta'esha interdoi, Ta'esha interdoi. Now we'll do 3 rounds of the Son of Aurora. It's on both sides, there and there. So we just have to flip back 3 times. Has everyone got it? Bitu atetae, janate uetae. Bitu atetae, ishanu edashale. Ishmata elente durethe, disala entesha dure. Samu en le talusha etayutalehi. Nita blende suduake, lava unishmetae, oto meteshteshali. Lava unishmetae, isnaveo insadekali, mita udu etishadae, nitrake enteshalure, desalae nurusha entaishmenedi. Leitu blena hirudale, bitu etetaete, janate uetae, bitu etetaete, ishanu enashale, ishmatael entedurethe, tisala enteshadure, sanu en le talusha enteutalehi. Mita blende suduake, lava unishmetae, oto menteshteshali. Lava unishmetae, isnavego insadekali. Mita udu etishadae, nipake enteshalure, dexalae nurusha entaishmenedi. Leitu blena ifudale, bitu atetaete, janate uetae, bitu atetaete, ishanu enashale, ishmatael entedurethe, tisala enteshature, samuel le talusha entayutalehi. Mita blende suduake, lava unishmetae, uda menteshteshali. Lava unishmetae, esnaveo insadekali. Mita udu etishadae, nipake enteshalure, texalae nurusha entaishmanedi. lay to blend a Hebrew dove, I state and affirm with absolute unshakable conviction the will to be as the eternal Christ our body in the sooner arcade Christ of the transcendent state opens the lunar Dale Risha veil and the first La E de Sala density 2 Sala solar passage and related flows.